Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jason Cunningham with Imperial PC Customs. I just wanted to do another episode, I guess, on Battlefield Hardline. I'm using my phone, of course, as my main video source. I just got my GoPro. It's coming. It's on its way, so my production quality and all that will start to increase here real quick. Anyways, we're going to start off from where we last left off. That was episode 3. I'm going to do some, in hindsight, I'm going to go back and record chapter 1 and 2, I believe. Right now, I am a little bit of ahead from the last video, but I'll make up that. And through the magic of editing and whatnot, I'll make it all blend together. But last episode, we were in the gator infested swamps looking for some evidence and whatnot. In Battlefield Hardline, it's just like Cops and Robbers. It's not the military style. It's still, a first person shooter. It has its pros, cons. But what I love about this is I'm using my I call this the Death Stalker, even though this is a Roswell Nighthawk or something like that. I can't remember the original name. Yeah, but what I have in here is it's not the most modern, but it's still an amazing freaking board, overclocker. By no means is it out of date, in my opinion, or anybody who knows computers and components and hardware. I'll even use all the way down to LGA or socket 775, P43, P45 chipsets, because of the durability, quality, capacitors, all the componentry that keeps the board future-proof, so to speak. It's all about quality and whatnot, and making sure that you're matching the right CPU, GPU, everything together to make it run smooth. And whatever build you're doing it according to your needs and whatnot. This is the inside, and what I'll do is I'll do a walk around of it shortly here today, just to really give you some inside perspective as to what this board and the P55 chipset does. It's the socket 1156. I got the Intel Core i7, the 870. I got it overclocked to 4.23 gigahertz using I modified this case, of course. I put in a Corsair H100i. I can't do push-pull because I don't have enough room. I could have externally mounted it and did a modification, but I elected not. But I do having it pulling air from inside or from outside in, simply for dust reasons. If I have it blowing upwards, it accumulates dust in the radiator so much, and right with on contact with the fan. So doing it this way, I noticed temp-wise, it's helped me increase my temps by upwards of 3 to 8 degrees minus. So right now it's stock at 4.23 gigahertz. I'm running at 1.418 volts, I think. Idles at 30, 30 to mid 30s. On load, 60s. That's huge. But I'm reaching the threshold on it because of the V-core and whatnot. So I have had it as much as 4.5 for benching, because I do have a test bench and whatnot, and I'm probably gonna throw this into the test bench, this motherboard, and use it just for graphics card testing and whatnot. since we can't theoretically use all the bandwidth anyways of our PCI Express lane, albeit PCI 2.0 or 3.0, so that's relevant to me. Anyways, I modified it where I took out the hard drive trays so I could fit a 240 rad here for water cooling. That's why I customized this, because I want to also make it a super water cooling potential machine. It does have a hard drive dock. What I can do is I'll kind of go over some, if we can see, that is. I got the hard drive dock, the SATA power and data connections right there. It's hard to see. It's right down in here. And if you can see up top, you can see through a little bit. But I got my 240 millimeter radiator right under here. I had to cut out the honeycomb plastic and then the mesh underneath it. But because it is capable to fit two 120 millimeter fans, I just kept the brackets for the fans, and that's how I was able to cut through it, but fit this up a little bit. Like it's halfway up, and so by the time I mount the fan underneath, I screw through it so that the screw goes through this notch out where the fan connects to the chassis, and the radiator is on top of that, so it secures the radiator to the points to where the weight and everything will be, so it's evenly distributed. If you look at it from side profile and everything, keep in mind I just cleaned this out and I'm getting ready to redo it because I'm reusing the water cooler for my new AMD build, and I'm gonna put one of the new what's it called? Either I'm gonna put my thermal tape or I don't know yet. I'll hold off on explaining that. But anyways, I got my 3 intake fans, my Core i7. I got the GTX 6, or it's the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 650 OCTI. Has the WindForce 2.0 cooling, heatsink, copper pipes, all that stuff. I put the MSI Dragon logo because this is the enthusiast grade motherboard, even if it is 3-4 years old or whatever. It's still an enthusiast grade gaming motherboard. It has test bench, you know, or if you're benching on a test bench, it has all the power reset, auto overclocking through OC Genie, killer MOSFET VRM heat sinks, or the Dr. MOS, which is a driver MOSFET combo. It's a cooling unit that's on top of the VRM. Cools it excellent. I mean, I'm always in the 20s, 30 degrees on my motherboard temps and whatnot, and thermals. But I got the EVGA badge, the Corsair badge. I need some lighting in here. I'm in my bedroom, you guys, so sorry about that. I know I'm running on 10 minutes now. That's a lot. I'll have to cut this down. And this isn't a professional walk around. It's supposed to be just a gaming video. But anyways, I'll just quickly show what I can show. I just moved it to the side. So we got our PCI phase display, LED display, showing the usage of the CPU. Obviously it's maxed out. I got 16 gigabytes, which the P55 chipset can do. Is 16 gigabytes max RAM. Here is the Dr. Moss on the. There is no south bridge. They changed everything over from the old LGA 775 on this on the newer socket 1156, which this is. They changed some things, so a lot of things are controlled by the CPU, and underneath my graphics card there's another big heat sink right here, MSI with the blue labeling. This is the MSI P55-GD65, which is the second best. The top end is the GD80, which is only one above this and only has a few more features. You got your voltage through a multimeter. You could read these read points like your VTT. You basically all your voltages for your overclocking and whatnot. Yeah. Anyways, I got some cathodes here. I'm getting ready to do all the cabling again, even though I have done a good job in the beginning. This is a fully modular OCZ ZX series. It's the 850 watt gold rated power supply. I turned this bottom fan off because I'm replacing it. I'm not liking the Kingwin fans. It is SATA 2, but I do have a Crucial M4 SATA 2 SSD with a 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue hard drive or mechanical drive. There's your OC Genie auto overclock button. There's your power button, your plus and minus on the fly base clock. So you can in Windows auto overclock while you're benching and stress testing by simply pressing the plus or minus keys to figure out where this is just so convenient. Mainly it's for hardcore overclockers. That's what this board's geared towards, is enthusiast overclocking. Now, I'm able to play this game around 50-60 frames per second at 1080p, which I'm 1080p all the way. I don't care about 4K and any of that stuff. I'm happy with high definition. And multi-monitor I don't care for, because they did skimp out on the Kepler series GPUs on some of them. For example, this doesn't even have a SLI Goldfinger adapter, so it's not even slide capable. It does have a great cooling system. It is overclocked. I got it to, I think it's at 1065 on the core. Oh geez, and I think it's at 1300 something on the memory. But it only has a 128-bit bus interface, so at 2 gigabytes GDR5 DirectX 11, it is the Kepler or the 650 or 600 series GPU. I do have USB 3.0 on the back via PCI Express X1 slot. I put one of my NZXT 140mm fans in the rear, just for aesthetics reasons, with the blue matching dims. I got my LED on my H100i through heat levels. Right now it's blue, so that means even with it being at somewhat of a load for gaming, it's still blue, saying that hey, look, you're still within good thermal limits. It will then go to orange when it gets hotter, and then red when it gets into the 80s, maybe even 90s, which that won't happen. Not the way I've done this. And again, right here I got the clearance space for another radiator to put up front. Again, all this is just hanging because I'm redoing it. So I could fit another bottom intake fan or exhaust, however you want to do it. It does have high enough legs so that I can have it on the carpet, good clearance, and have my PCU sucking air in from under here and exhausting it out the back. This GPU has two 100mm, this is the WindForce edition, and so it does have one 6-pin power lead to it. It does have 4 monitor outlets, 1 HDMI, 2 DVI, or 1 dual link. I gotta look at it. They do have a VGA on there, which I think is ridiculous. Who would do VGA? But anyways, and then up top I got my GTX, or not GTX, I'm having a brain fart. I still got chemo brain. But I got my H100i up here, and I'm touching one of the fans right here. So it's flush, even. I'll go over everything in depth on this build because it is for sale and whatnot. I'll show you some benchmarks, some test results, all the goodies that one would like to know about, and more. So yeah, anyways, let me reset this and I'll be right back and we'll start gaming. Okay guys, I'm getting ready to game. I got my internet off, so Origin's not going to be working, but that's okay. Data log and all that can wait. So we're just gonna rock and roll here, and I am filming off of my Samsung Galaxy S4 with modified ROM and whatnot, so that it is it's a 14 megapixel camera, so it's an amazing camera, or for video as well. I can do two-way because using the front camcorder as well. With the back I can film two-way action if I'm interviewing or whatever. I don't have a mic hooked up, guys, so I hope you can hear me. I'm just laying down on my bed. I'm getting ready to do some gaming for us, and I hope you enjoy. In the first video I showed you the settings, everything's on high. Just like my favorite series cards, the Fermi cards, not really the 400 but 500 series. I love, like my EVGA, all of them have lifetime warranties. I got the 560 Ti, which is 2 gigabytes at 256-bit, so it will smoke this GPU. The power is more, it does require 2 6-pin. That's really the only trade-off, and a reduction millimeter wise in the GPU die. So yeah, let's like for example, my main Intel gaming board that's downstairs that I'm doing all the videos on with all my builds, that's my Z77 MSI board, GD65. Hefty overclocker. I got the i5-3570K, almost a 5 gigahertz, and keep in mind a 4.22 gigahertz on this Core i7-870 with 8 megs of cache, 4 cores, 8 threads. So you can do heavy rendering, video, all that stuff. I mean, it's an i7. I mean, I'll show you the benchmarks on everything. You'll be quite astonished. I mean, I got this thing dialed in, let's say that, to say the least. Anyways, I was just saying my favorite series was the Fermi, but I got two GTX 580 EVGA cards, lifetime warranty, in Sly on my Z77, which will basically smoke every 6 series card, except maybe this 690 and most of the 700 series cards, except for the higher flagship GPUs on the top end for the dual graphics cards and on one single PCB. So anyways, keep all that in mind while we're playing. You're not gonna see micro stuttering, no, nothing. You'll see great texture. You're gonna see all of that, and that's only on I think it's 88 gigabits or what memory transfer. So that's not a lot, you know. That's nothing compared to like my 580 and whatnot, or it's like 140 or something. But anyways, I know I keep stuttering. Again, this is my new channel, or revised channel. I'm doing all this to help support my cancer costs and the funds that goes into my diet and everything to try to beat this, and not just get drugged down by chemo. And this stuff keeps me busy, it keeps me thinking, keeps me positive, and it keeps me not thinking about it. So without further ado, let's rock and roll and game. Alright guys, here we go. Again, I'm Jason Cunningham with Imperial PC Customs, coming at you with some Battlefield Hardline. And if you have any suggestions or videos you'd like to see that maybe you can't find on the internet, gaming videos, breakdown of what a VRM is, MOSFET, I'm going to do a lot of those videos, a lot of mod videos. By no means do I claim I'm a pro, but I am good at what I do. There's no doubt about it. I do make mistakes. I've learned a lot through trial and error, and I did work for Gateway, I did work for Dell, but I didn't get into like overclocking and modifying and building until about 4 years ago. So I have about 10 years under my belt. I'm 33 right now. So yeah, and I back up everything with a warranty. I have a strict, and I'm very diligent on the maintenance of my PCs, and I'll go over all that on why you know, an LGA 7.5 socket can be an awesome gaming rig no matter what, even if it's older architecture. The point is getting the functionality we want. If we're wanting, you know, 30 to 60 frames per second, you know, playable game activity, with different GPUs, CPU configuration, platform configuration, there's ways to do it. They were all, I mean, if you look at your CPU, air coolers or water coolers, what do they say on it? It goes all the way back to LGA 775 or AM2, AM3, FM1, FM2 on up. So that's basically the beginning of the real die-hard, hardcore motherboards, gaming, server, workstation, whatever PC or class board. P is usually, like if you see a P, like this is the P55 series, that's like the high-end, basically enthusiast grade. If you got the X, you know, that's where you got your triple RAM, you know, with the basically it's the processors with the X series SKU. That's the extreme edition basically. Those motherboard like the X38, 58, or all the way up till now like the X79 or 99, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't really care. As long I usually keep my builds for 3 to 5 years, I'm good. I don't do upgrades every year. It's pointless. As long as I can get what I want out of it, that's my whole point. And so I'm going to show you why 775 is still hardcore, so long as the components are right. Just the same goes with the socket 1156, so the Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge, all the way on up. They were designed to be the top of their grade at the time, just as they are now. That makes them no less, other than SATA 3 and the new architectures and stuff. But component-wise, it's just the same. And with a good overclock, with good thermals and stability, your board and stuff's going to go out a lot before your components will go out way before your CPU will if you do it right. So again, we're rocking 16 gigabits of RAM, 4.23 gigahertz on the overclock on an i7 870. The GPU is the 2 gigabyte GeForce GTX 650 Ti. Again, that's 2 gigabytes, but only 128-bit interface. So let's see what we can do with it and how well it plays. Again, I guarantee you're not going to see stuttering or anything like that. It's going to be perfect. Let's rock and roll. Sorry about that, guys. My phone cuts off after a certain amount of minutes, so I'm going to start a new recording and then we'll start playing there.